Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So Laura is doing a whole series on Italian sauces and she's made a nice pot of ragu. So what she's asked me to do is show her how to make, or our friends to make, pasta from scratch.
Yeah.
So very basic, this pasta recipe you can use for any types of pasta. Obviously we're going to make tagliatelle today, so it's going to be a thicker one. We've got the machine. But the basic ingredients are all the same. So you got 200 grams of flour. They recommend a type 00 flour, which is a finer, stronger flour. 2 eggs, and obviously some salt. So your ratio is, this is enough for 4 people. If it's just 2 of you, it's 100 grams of flour and 1 egg. Alright, so really simple. Make sure your hands are clean, you got no jewelry, because I find if you got jewelry, your flour is going to get into the rings and everything, and it's going to be a huge mess. So you got the flour, pour it out on your surface. Your surface has been cleaned. Make a well in the middle. There's the salt. About half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, mix it all up, make a well in the middle. And then you're going to crack. Rule of thumb, we're using eggs from the village, so crack it into a bowl first to make sure it's safe, and then in, because you don't want to have a bad egg and then it just ruins everything. Okay, got some sugar in there. Right. Okay, second one in, there we go. Alright, now you're going to break the egg yolks. And you're just going to swirl it around. And as it's swirling around, it's going to incorporate the flour from the sides.
So now, the difference with pastas is that when you have different sauces, you use different size pastas to suit the sauce. Because, like for ragu, it's a denser sauce with lots of fibers. So you want something bigger that will pick it up and carry it. If you use a finer one, it's not going to carry the sauce. And also, the sauce is a lot thicker, so it's not really going to go and be absorbed into the pasta, right? Then, if you've got like a clam pasta, you want to use a very fine, like an angel hair pasta normally, because the clam is more delicate and it can be picked up by the pasta much easier. And sometimes you actually want some of the pasta sauce to be absorbed by the pasta, which obviously the finer pasta will absorb it easier. So you need to know which pasta to use with which sauce. So the ragu, you're going to use either a cannelloni, which is almost like a sheet to make lasagna, but instead of making lasagna, you wrap it around the sauce, which comes out quite nicely, and you can bake it in the oven even afterwards. Or you'll use a ribbon pasta or tagliatelle. The thinnest you may go on that is a linguine, but I wouldn't. I would really prefer a thick pasta. Then you start using your other pastas, linguine for more of your Alfredos, and carbonara is more for a spaghetti. So not angel and not really tagliatelle. So when you choose the right pasta for your sauce, it makes a big difference in the sauce.
Yeah.
How it carries the sauce, how you eat the sauce, how it absorbs the sauce. So remember, if you need to know which pasta to use for your sauce, just message us and I will give you some guidelines.
Okay, so as you can see, I've incorporated all the flour from the table. Keep scraping it. And you can see it's all binding together. You want to get everything incorporated as best you can. And if you feel it's a bit dry, just add a little bit of water, like literally a teaspoon at a time. But don't be worried, because once you start kneading, it's going to form a nice smooth bowl. But ideally, you want all the flour incorporated.
So now I know this is an egg pasta. Some people don't put egg in their pasta. Why do you put egg?
The egg gives a nice rich flavor and color. And yeah, so you get people that, well, we make noodles with just egg and water, flour and water. But with the egg, it's, you know, gives a nice texture and a different flavor.
Fabulous.
Okay, now what we're going to do is knead it and stretch it so to get the glutens working and stretching. And this you need at least 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then we're going to rest it.
Okay, so I'll give you 10 minutes. Right?
Okay, so what you can do as well is you hold the piece of dough that's closest to you, and with the palm of your hand, you're going to stretch it out. Push it forward. It's going to break. You roll it back, stretch it out, literally tearing it. Fold it in again, tearing it, tearing it, tearing it. It's good exercise for the arms, and also good exercise to get the frustrations out when you're woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, sorry, I wanted to make my sauce, you know.
Okay.
It's a saucy morning.
Another way is just roll it left and right through your palms.
Yeah, sauce takes quite a while to cook. You can't just make it.
Yeah, understandable. It has to be slow cooked. This isn't a fast food takeaway.
No, I don't eat fast food takeaway.
So there you have it. A nice ball. You can see it's quite smooth, but it's going to get more smooth as it's going to rest. So what? We're just going to wrap it up in some cling wrap.
Right.
Okay. For about 30 minutes.
Cool.
All right, see you now. Okay, welcome back. So it's been about 30 minutes. In the meantime, I've got a pot of boiling water going. It's probably about 2.5 liters. Always add some salt, so it's about a tablespoon of salt. So you can see over here, it's almost risen a bit, and it's quite smooth. So now what we're going to do is quarter them, all right, because I said there's 4 portions, so we're going to make 2 portions. And then we're going to roll it out. The pasta machine has been set up. Also, whenever we're going to do a video, we're going to do little tricks of the trade. So my trick of the trade is with a cutting board. I see a lot of people cutting vegetables or meat without, and the board is sliding everywhere. Very easy, just get a damp tea towel, put it at the bottom, and then there we go, it's stable. Please add or send us your comments of your daily or any tricks of the trade in the kitchen so we can share it with everybody.
And any kitchen injuries.
And kitchen injuries. Alright, so here we go. Flatten it out a bit. As I said, this is enough for 4 people. So there we go, the quarters. And you can see it's quite airy and fluffy. Okay, so the ones we're not going to use, we can put back, and you can put in the fridge for a few days. And then we've got 2 little bollikies. Alright, dust your surface a bit so it doesn't stick, and just flatten it out a bit. Okay, so we're going to hand cut the pasta because we wanted it about a centimeter thick. Alright. So we've got the machine set to the highest thickness, number 7. And as you can hear, the tractor man's going in our village. It's a public holiday, but they still work in the village. No rest for the wicked. Okay, so I'm flattening it just a bit to help the machine. It's going to go in. So there we go. Alright. So always dust it a bit in case there is a little bit of moisture, then it gets stuck in the machine. Okay, so now we're on number 5. I'm just going to keep on lowering the settings. And as you can see, it's getting thinner. Sprinkle some flour. And the good old days when my dad had his restaurants, he used to make his noodles by hand. near the industrial machine, and then make hundreds and kilos of these noodles.
How do you make them by hand?
This is
The
making
industrial
by
machine.
hand. Yeah. Making by hand meaning not bought.
It's like, I thought you were going to show me this display of, those guys in Asia that do these noodles by hand.
Throwing noodles
Yeah.
by hand.
Yeah.
Well,
Come now,
we
you must
can
get
do
with
that.
it.
Okay, so this is 2. Do you want to thin it?
It's actually quite a thick pasta, this.
I think we go to 1.
Okay.
But the joys of making it yourself, you can decide what you want, if you want thick or thin.
Okay.
Not stuck. Damn it. That's okay. Okay. So here you have it. Unfortunately just got stuck a bit here. Alright. So now we're gonna, did you want long ones? So you're going to fold it into each other like that. Make sure there's flour there, and then we can start the second one.
The nice thing about village life is, like most things are rustic, when you see everything so perfect, it's not, then you may as well buy a store-bought.
Well, that's what our channel is about, is, I think a lot of people, especially back home, is we've been spoiled and you've lost touch on cooking. And what we find is we're actually enjoying cooking things that we wouldn't ever cook at home. So making breads, making desserts, and I encourage people again, especially with kids. I find kids, all they want to do is be on the cell phones and on the iPads and whatever. Get them stuck in the kitchen, to make breakfast, pancakes, breads. Breads is very satisfying. Pizzas, and it's not difficult.
Yeah, and at least if you're making it at home, you know what's going in it.
And if you're stuck, you can always message me, and then I'll find the solution and the easier way to do it. Or you can just YouTube everything.
Yeah. I mean, some places you go to, you really don't know what they put in stuff anymore.
Yeah, like we're fortunate in the village. We get the bread delivery twice a week from the local bakery in town. But I make my breads myself, and Grassa and Laura loves them, and we distribute them to the village to say thank you for all their help, and they love our breads. Okay, so we're in settings, so we're going to run it one more time. Okay, so here you have it. It's rustic.
Rustica.
Rustic. And some flour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make things ourselves, it's much better. Like even sausages and, stuff, just get experimenting. Especially if you go to someone who's like a restaurant or something, it's actually better to find out if they're making this stuff themselves. Or where their produce is coming from.
Okay, so if you want to be fancy, just cut the edges off, and then the thickness. So that's about what, 2 centimeters?
1.5.
1.5, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay,
Roughly.
slip it.
Mind your fingers. Yeah.
Now we loosen them up.
Yeah. Nice. That's ideal for the ragu.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything that's got a weight to it. So even your chicken that, you know, you've got a whole chicken that you've cut up and you're doing a chicken pasta or whatever. Anything that's got weight, a wider pasta is better.
Okay, so there you have it, homemade pasta, ribbon pasta, and it literally took, apart from the waiting, 30 minutes to wait, preparation time 10 minutes kneading, so 45 minutes. Get your kids to do all the hard work, and then you just make the sauce and Bob's your uncle. Okay, so now we're going to cook the pasta. Let's go to the stove.
Do you want me to get the sauce ready first?
Yeah. Alright, so we're at the stove now. The water's boiling with a tablespoon of olive oil and some salt. The ragu is ready, it's warm. We don't want to heat it too much until the pasta is ready, or else the liquid's going to evaporate and dry out. Okay, here we go, pasta's in. Look at it bubbling away. Okay. Now, you'll know when the pasta is ready. You're literally going to cook it just under a minute. So give it a good stir.
It's a lot of pasta, actually.
Oops. Okay, so indication if you're making tortellinis and the dumplings in that is when the pasta floats, it should be ready. Or you just wait till the water reaches boiling point again, and then you can scoop it out.
So it doesn't take that long?
No, under a minute.
Because I know like the harder pastas, like the dried out ones, take a bit longer.
Yeah. No, because you're using fresh, you know, it's just going to blanch, and you don't want the pasta too soggy.
Okay.
You want it
a bit firm.
Yeah.
It'll fall apart.
Yeah. The tractor man's back. So he's obviously doing garden work in the village. Okay, so you can also just take a piece out.
Yeah, don't throw it and stick it to a wall or stick it to the ceiling or any of that. That's nonsense.
You can taste.
I've never done that in my life.
Still a bit firm, but you might like it. Perfect.
Nothing's ready.
Okay, fire off.
Drain all the water first. Doesn't really matter if there's a little bit of water because it loosens up the sauce because there's oil in the water, but not too much. You don't want a soup.
Okay, give it a little shake. Big shake.
Okay.
Mix it all in.
There you go.
Smells lovely, looks lovely.
Mix it well because it's got the meat. You must separate the meat.
And just shred the meat.
Okay. To the
Okay,
plate.
so to the plate. Oh, look at it. Okay, half there. Nope, we can put on this. That's okay. Okay, so we have the sauce here. Let's just pick that up.
What do you know? It's lunchtime.
Okay,
Half 11.
Oh, we're going to have early lunch. Okay,
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit, and thanks for watching. Like I said, like our page, pass our page around, send us little tricks and trades. When we do the next video, I'll give you another trick. Let me think, there's always lots of tricks in the kitchen, so yeah. Okay, enjoy it and get cooking, get cracking. Cheers.
Yoo-hoo.